Will Spider-Man and Daredevil collide in No Way Home? Well, the internet seems to think so thanks to some shots of hairy arms. But honestly, this idea raises a ton of other exciting possibilities. Thanks to the wonderfully wacky world of the multiverse, what other Daredevil characters could pop back up again? And what role would they play in the noticeably brighter Disney Plus era of the MCU? Let's get into it right now. Alright, let's start with the obvious one. When you're talking about which characters from the Daredevil TV show could rejoin the MCU, you kinda have to include the main guy. Rumors have been circulating for months that Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home, and story-wise it makes sense.
What do you mean?
Peter Parker's identity was just blown by Mysterio, and there's potential legal trouble the young webhead is facing. With all that on his plate, he's gonna need a good lawyer. So Matt Murdock was a logical conclusion to this theory. Chances are we won't know for sure until the movie comes out, but in the meantime, we can speculate on what this character's return would be. Like everyone on this list, we have to ask if this would be the same Matt we saw on Netflix, or if it's a different multiverse version. Given all the baggage of the other show, and add in the fact that the multiverse is so important now, I would say the smart money's on a new version of Daredevil. In a lot of ways, Kingpin is the type of street-level villain that I think a lot of people would want to see Spider-Man fight. Don't get me wrong, we all love the big multiverse-hopping, universe-saving adventures Spidey has experienced in the MCU, but I know that for some fans, a lot of the appeal of the character is seeing him deal with more down-to-earth stuff. He's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man after all. That's why Kingpin would make a perfect addition to the MCU. Vincent D'Onofrio's performance as Wilson Fisk is incredible. It's top-tier excellence, and his terrifying, hulking demeanor with criminal ties that run deep through New York would make an excellent foil for the young Peter Parker. And even if he wasn't facing Spider-Man, he's a great villain for other heroes as well. Like, maybe he doesn't work as a big bad of a movie, but what if he was the main baddie for the Hawkeye TV show? That sounds appealing, right? I mean, we know Yelena won't stay mad at Clint forever, so why not pit the group against one of the biggest crime lords in Marvel history? When we last saw Stick in the Netflix Marvel universe, things weren't going well for the martial arts master. He decided that Danny Rand was too dangerous to be alive and decided to execute him, which, I mean, was that really that wrong? Anyways, he was stopped in his plans by Elektra, who proceeded to plunge a sword in Stick's chest. But hey, now that the MCU has established the multiverse, it would be quite easy to bring another version of the grumpy old martial artist into this universe. And he would bring a lot to the table here. Shang-Chi established the Ten Rings as a far-reaching, shadowy terrorist organization. And with the future of that organization in question, there might be more room for secretive ancient warrior groups. One of these could be the Chaste, which Stick leads. Now, is it too much to ask for a Shang-Chi sequel where Shang-Chi encounters Stick and learns some valuable life lessons in the process? I hope not. Is there a way to make the character of the Punisher work for the MCU? Yes, he's incredibly dark and brutal in his methods, but he's a staple of the Marvel comics for a reason. Seeing a character like Frank Castle exist in a world where magic, robots, and time travel exists would be a fascinating way to highlight a person without powers trying to stop what other heroes can't do. But if you can't get Jon Bernthal back for the role, then don't even bother, I guess, because I feel his Frank Castle is right up there with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Tony Stark as Iron Man. Yeah, I said it. I would argue that the MCU and New York needs good journalists now more than ever. In a time where the Daily Bugle is out there slandering Spider-Man, there needs to be individuals who seek out the truth and would do anything to report it accurately. That's where Karen Page could come in. Page was vital in both the Daredevil and the Punisher show and showed herself to be a person with integrity, grit, and a nose for the truth. She doesn't have to be a new main character or anything, but having someone like her who could report on the truth of the Avengers in a time where people like J. Jonah Jameson and maybe even Valentina would try to turn public opinion against our heroes, we need people like Karen Page. Daredevil Season 3 served as a perfect origin for Benjamin Poindexter, aka Bullseye. Throughout the season, as Poindexter was impersonating Daredevil, we got glimpses of his deadly accuracy. But the season ended with him making his full transformation into the villain we all know and love. Though because the show was cancelled, his arc would remain unfinished. Until now, that is. Bullseye should absolutely rejoin the MCU if all his Daredevil friends are. He would make a great Hawkeye antagonist, don't you think? Or, you know, he could just fight Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, and you know what? Just go ahead and make Daredevil Season 4. Claire Temple was like the Phil Coulson of the Netflix Marvel shows, and because Rosario Dawson just deserves to be in every major franchise imaginable, the MCU should bring her back. You could either put her in the same role as before, meaning acting as a connection point to a lot of street-level heroes like Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight, or you could put her in Doctor Strange's world. She was a nurse in the Netflix shows, so why not have her be around Christine Palmer in Doctor Strange 2? Hey, stranger things have happened, right? Oh, I almost forgot Danny Rand, aka the immortal Iron Fist. Oh, what's that? Literally, no one is asking for that character to return, and now that we have Shang-Chi, Iron Fist is even more irrelevant? Good point. Sorry, Danny, you're not coming back. Why don't you go spend 6 episodes being sad about it?